my dear students, welcome to the video. In this video I am going to discuss the line by line paraphrase of Shelley's famous Ode to the West Wind. So let's get started. In the first canto, the writer begins by addressing the west wind, and he says, "O wild west wind." So these first 3 or 4 words, they make the reader aware that there is a speaker, there is a narrator, there is a character who is talking to this wind, who is addressing this wind, and he is addressing the wind as wild. And why is that so? He says, "Thou breath of autumn's being." Breath of autumn's being. So autumn has been personified here, and this west wind, this wind is the breath of this person called autumn. "Thou, from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven, like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing." So there is a simile here, and the poet, the narrator says that, "O west wind, you, thou, you, from whose unseen presence, because the wind cannot be seen. It can be felt, but it cannot be seen. So it is unseen. So, O wind, in your unseen presence, the dead leaves, the leaves that have died, they are driven, they are taken away by this wind, and they are taken away like ghosts." So these leaves, these dead leaves have been compared to ghosts which run away when they see an enchanter. When an enchanter comes and he performs some magic spell, these ghosts run away. In the same way, these dead leaves, they run away when west wind approaches or when the west wind blows. Now, in the next few lines of the canto, the narrator goes on describing the leaves and the wind, and he says, "Yellow and black and pale and hectic red." So he is describing the color of these leaves. These leaves are dead. They are not fresh leaves. So they are not green. So they are yellow and black and pale and hectic red. And they are pestilence stricken multitudes. These leaves are great in number. They are in multitude. That is, there are lots and lots of leaves that are falling, and they seem to be pestilence stricken because they are discolored, because they are not in the best of their shape and beauty. So they seem to be pestilence stricken. Pestilence, they seem to be disease stricken. It seems as if there is some disease that has taken over these leaves. "O thou who chariotest to their dark wintry bed." Now again he addresses. So again we become aware that there is a person who is talking to someone, and he says, "Oh you, that is the west wind, who chariotest to their dark wintry bed." Chariot is a chariot. I mean, it is a horse driven cart sort of a thing. So you chariot has been used here as a verb, not as a noun. So he says that you chariot to their dark wintry bed. You take them. I mean, we will get to know what he is talking about. But here he says that, "O wind, you take to their dark wintry bed." Wintry bed, the bed which is used in winters. And how is that so? We see in the next lines. And the narrator says that you take to their dark wintry bed the winged seeds. The seeds which are winged. Now obviously seeds cannot have wings. So he is again using this image that these seeds have wings. Actually they seem to be flying. So they are not flying. Actually they are being carried away by the wind. But when they are being carried away by the wind, it seems as if they are flying. That is why the narrator uses this word winged. So these winged seeds are being charioted. That is, they are being taken away to their dark wintry bed, to their bed which is dark, where they lie cold and low. Now what is this bed? This bed is the soil. So these seeds will be, hidden inside the soil. So they will be lying there cold and low during the season of winter. So they will be lying there cold and low, that is devoid of warmth and buried under the soil, each like a corpse. Again he uses a simile and he says that each of these seeds will be like a corpse, will be like a dead body within its grave. So they will be like a dead body which is lying in its grave. These seeds which will be buried in the ground for the season of winter, they will be like a dead body which is lying in a grave until how long will these seeds keep lying there? Until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow. So until your azure, light blue in color. So when the sky will be light blue in color and the weather will be pleasant, so the sister of thine azure sister of the spring. So spring again has been personified as the sister to the season autumn. So when the season of autumn will come, when the skies will be clear and blue, then these seeds will come out in the form of saplings. So he says, the narrator says that, O wind, you take these seeds away and you bury them in the ground where they keep lying like corpse or dead bodies until spring shall come. So again he is using an image here, and how does the narrator elaborate that image? We'll see in the next lines. It says, your azure sister shall blow her clarion over the dreaming earth. That is spring, which has been personified as the sister to autumn season. So spring will blow her clarion, that is spring will bring the whole earth back to life. The earth which was lying cold and low during winters, it was buried under snow. So spring will blow her clarion, that is spring will bring the earth out of its dream. The earth would be dreaming. It was dreaming and the spring will bring it alive, or it will awake the earth from its dreams and fill. And what would the spring do? It would bring the earth back to life. It will awaken the earth and it will fill with living hues and odors plain and hill. So this spring will fill with living colors and fragrances all plains and hill. That is, the whole earth would be filled with beautiful colors and beautiful fragrances. And now we take this line which is in the parenthesis, and it says, driving sweet buds like flocks to feed in air. So again the narrator uses a simile and he says that the spring will drive sweet buds. That is, these sweet buds will be blooming. So they will be like flocks which are being taken to feed in fresh air, which are being taken out on the meadows, on the grasslands to feed in the air. So like these flocks, these sweet buds would be taken out by the spring, and these sweet buds and these blooms, they will fill the earth with colors and fragrances. And in the last couplet of the canto, the narrator again addresses to the west wind and he says, wild spirit which are moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, hear, O hear. Now he says, you are a wild spirit, O west wind, you are a wild spirit because you are moving everywhere, like a spirit which can move everywhere. So you are moving everywhere, and you are a destroyer and preserver. You destroy, west wind destroys, it makes all the leaves fall on the ground, but with the leaves the seeds also fall. So it preserves life also. It destroys the leaves, but at the same time it preserves life in the form of seeds. So it is destroyer and preserver at the same time. Hear, O hear. So the narrator says, O west wind, O wind, you who are so powerful that you drive these leaves away and you bury them and you preserve life in them, and you are so powerful. So please listen to me. I have something to say to you. So this is uh, the meaning, the paraphrase of the first canto. We will continue with the next canto in my next video. Thank you.